By now, we've all seen that Bernie Sanders has suspended his campaign. The question is, how should he have done that? Well, I've started to get calls and texts that people are upset because Bernie Sanders said that he is suspending his campaign. He made it quite evident that he believes that Joe Biden will be ultimately the nominee. I still doubt that. I still think there may be some other issues to be taken care of by the DNC. But what he said is that he wants to maintain his delegates and he's going to remain on the ballot. And the reason he's going to do that, he wants to have influence on what the party platform is going to be. And that is an interest that was earned. But it's not only that. We have to recall how this came about. This came about when the entire power of the Democratic Party, the entire power of the corporatocracy came out against a surging candidate. They came out against a surging candidate telling the people at large, this is the only person that can win, that being Joe Biden. This is the only one that can beat Donald Trump. And given the fear that many have for Donald Trump, that is what you got. Well, for those who may doubt that, the power of the party was very responsible for holding back a surging candidate, one of the greatest talking pieces for the mainstream media, the corporate media, tends to agree as well. And here we go. Check this out.
Steve, it is remarkable where we were on the eve of the Nevada caucuses, Bernie Sanders declaring victory in San Antonio, Texas, going on the air, ready to pull a huge upset in South Carolina. And here we are today.
We've just seen Joe Biden pull off something that in the modern history of Democratic nominating contests, and that goes back a half century to 1972, in the modern history we've never seen. And that is that Joe Biden, he didn't just lose Iowa and then lose New Hampshire and then, for that matter, lose Nevada. He lost them big. He was left in the dust in those states. You can remember New Hampshire. Remember this? Remember the night of the New Hampshire primary? Look, you couldn't even see Joe Biden's name here. You had to go down past. There's Joe Biden in 5th place at 8%. I mean, you've seen candidates who've lost early states like Bill Clinton in 92 and become the Democratic nominee, but they got moral victories in the early states. Clinton could call himself the comeback kid in New Hampshire in 92. There were no moral victories for Joe Biden in those first 3 states, but you said it. It was that moment when Bernie Sanders won Nevada. He won it going away, and it looked like, based on how these things have gone in the past, that there might be a bandwagon effect, that Sanders might grow his support in South Carolina on Super Tuesday and beyond and kind of run away with the Democratic nomination. And instead, that great moment for Bernie Sanders, I think that victory for him in Nevada turned into the worst moment for him as a candidate because it focused the rest of the Democratic Party, the non-Sanders component of the party, on that gut check question. Do we really want to make, they had to ask themselves, Bernie Sanders the nominee? Their answer was no. The signal they got in South Carolina from Jim Clyburn, from the voters in South Carolina, every single county in the state was Biden blue that night. Basically a 30-point win for Joe Biden. The signal the Democratic Party got coming out of South Carolina was, if you don't want Sanders, it's Biden. And that was the answer we got from pretty much every state after that. Biden, Biden, Biden.
I think the biggest lesson is Bernie Sanders was right. There is a Democratic establishment, and it's still strong enough to keep him from getting the nomination.
That from the dean of the corporate media. It is still strong enough to deny him the nomination. And look, this is understood. But the reason that I am putting this out is not to attempt to be a spoiler, because that I will not be. But I think it is essential for people to understand that if America is saying the policies we want are the policies that Bernie Sanders is supporting, and the policies, but the reason that we're voting for Biden is because he is the only one we think can win. And if you have the power of the party, the power of the corporatocracy telling you that the only way you can get Trump out of the White House, that person that you so fear, the only way you can do it is through Biden. Biden is the only viable candidate. Then, of course, people that feel they will be most hurt by a Donald Trump second term will vote against it. But then there are the strong ones. They're the ones that say, you know what? We want a real change, and the way to get a real change is to give Americans what they want and not allow the corporate media and not allow a portion of a party beholden to a plutocracy, beholden to an oligarchy to say, hey, this is the only person that you can go with. You better go with this or else. So why then am I very happy that Mr. Sanders has decided not to simply throw his hands up and say bye-bye and endorse? Because I believe they asked for Biden. That's fine. If they want Biden to win, then they have to negotiate a win with all the factions, with all the stakeholders that are going to be in that new administration. And why do I say that? Well, I will explain this a little bit further as we go on. But to put it bluntly, Bernie Sanders, in leaving the way that he left, is doing the right thing. You must earn Bernie Sanders' vote. You must earn the work that he did and the work that others did. Because remember, he did that as a faction. The others did it under the umbrella of the plutocracy and the portion of the Democratic Party that is beholden to that plutocracy. I'm Egberto Willies, host of Politics Done Right, an independent news program. I post several news videos of interest every day. I ask you so kindly to subscribe to my channel and please leave me some comments. Thank you very much.